There is entire Instagram accounts dedicated to exposing tattoo copycats. But what's the difference between that and traditional flash that's been repurposed and copied for hundreds of years? If you simply asked anyone, should you copy a tattoo? Most people would probably say no. But it's definitely a lot more complicated than that. And I think this points to the history of tattooing and how much the industry has changed in the last 5 years. So let's start off by looking at some examples of some really obvious and really poorly copied tattoos. Tattoo artist Daniel Silva is a really well-known black and gray realism artist, and he has this series on his TikTok where he exposes a bunch of his tattoo copycats. And these people are doing an awful job copying him. Daniel shows the copied tattoo and then what he created after, so you can really see the difference in quality. So with this lady-faced tiger design, you can see that it is the exact same design. It's almost like they took a photo of Daniel's work and then put it on their client and tried to tattoo it. Even the waves in the background are exactly the same. Here's another of a Joker design that Daniel did, and the copy of this one is really poorly done. You can see some areas where they tried to change it and add some color in the dollar bill and some color in the tie, but overall it doesn't look good at all. Daniel's tattoo clearly just has a lot more skill and time put into the tattoo. The first comment is, I think it's unfair to post a much older looking tattoo with a brand new fresh one. Without a doubt, the shadows and lines are better on the fresh one. And I definitely understand that criticism. Like, Daniel clearly has these crazy high quality cameras and they're able to capture just like the perfection of a fresh tattoo. Obviously that's not how it's gonna look forever. And these tattoos that he's comparing to are definitely a little bit older. But you really can't deny that there's a huge gap in skill level here, and that the design was almost completely ripped off from Daniel. Something I doubt would ever happen, but what would be really cool to see if we knew the price of the copied tattoo and if Daniel shared the price of his tattoo. I think the price difference would be insane. And honestly, a lot of people are just simply not going to be able to pay for Daniel's quality of his work. The next artist we're talking about is Cecile, and her username is CCYLE across all platforms. She's a tattoo artist in Barcelona, Spain, and she also does really unique black and gray work, often of women's faces. In the caption of this video, Cecile says, I get my work copied a lot. And this is their original Sinner Nun design. And there are so many copies of this tattoo. And the quality of all of these copies definitely vary. Some are pretty similar to the original. Some are just plain bad. But all of them are almost exact carbon copies of Cecile's original design. From the necklace to the detail in the eyes and the center across the forehead, even the skull in the smoke cloud. They've completely copied everything. The top comment on this video is, people who don't understand why this is wrong shouldn't get tattoos. Someone else said, people don't seem to realize there's a difference between using inspiration and copying. Those are exact copies of your work. Another comment says, it's really sad to see that there's tattoo artists that will just do someone else's design instead of coming up with something original with the same concept. I think that's a really good point, because honestly, the fact of the matter is that a lot of people come to tattoo artists and they say, I have this picture of this tattoo and I want it on me exactly how it is. And that's definitely a tough thing for tattoo artists to navigate, especially newer tattoo artists. Like, you want to make your client happy. And if you don't say that you will copy this tattoo, they might walk away. And I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do, but you can understand if a tattoo artist is relying on tattooing to pay their bills, they really don't want or can't have a client walk away. And I think that really points to how saturated the tattoo industry is nowadays and how accessible it is for anyone to pick up a tattoo machine off Amazon and call themselves a tattoo artist. And while I do understand where these tattoo artists are coming from, if you can't produce your own designs that people want to get your original artwork, I don't think stealing tattoos is the way to solve that problem. Now, this next example we have is actually from a tattoo client who was casually scrolling on TikTok and he saw his face tattoos copied. So the person who got his face tattoos copied is Angel Baby Sammy, whose @ is Angelic Still. And he's a model with these really unique tattoos all over his face and body. And the gentle across the side of his face and the spiderweb in his ear were directly copied by someone else. And now Sammy actually turned off the comments on this original post, I assume because he got a lot of backlash. And in response to a comment that says, "Nobody owns a tattoo," Sammy had this to say.
In a way, you're right, but in this scenario, I've had 3 tattoos, which is this portion of my face, basically taken off and put onto someone else. These are tattoos that have meaning to me, that I've gone out to a specific artist and got a specific font because they have meaning to me and I wanted them that way. I chose where they went, and people saying it's not copied. How is this not copied? It's 3 of my tattoos. Even everyone has a cobweb. I'm not mad about the cobweb, but the cobweb is part of the 3. It devalues them. It's tattoo etiquette not to do that, you know? That's the point.
So I didn't notice that the desire was also copied. So this person copied 3 of Sammy's tattoos in the exact same spots. A lot of people do have that cobweb in the ear, and even Sammy said he's not mad about the cobweb, but the cobweb, the desire, and the gentle all in the same font and in the same places. Like, it is clearly a copy. And Sammy said that he feels like it devalues his own tattoos, that he put so much effort into finding good fonts and tattoo artists. And this is really frustrating for him, which is totally understandable. And the comments on this video are also turned off. So I have to assume that people don't agree with Sammy that these were copied. And I think that has something to do with the Pinterest aesthetic of these tattoos. And this reminded me of this other TikTok that I saw. So this was posted by user Maya, and she said, "Unpopular opinion. You can't claim someone copied your tattoo if you got it off Pinterest. Shorty, you copied first, I just did it better." So what is a Pinterest tattoo? Because that's kind of vague. I searched the word tattoo on Pinterest and I went on a private tab so that none of my searches would be influencing this. The vast majority of tattoos on Pinterest are simple line work drawings. They're pretty much always in black ink, sometimes red. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but these are basic, generic symbols. There's a lot of hearts, stars, roses, numbers, simple words. These are tattoos that are very easy to get and they're very accessible to a lot of people. If you think of someone who's looking to get their first tattoo, going to someone like Daniel Silva or Cecile can definitely be a daunting experience and something that they're not ready for. But generally you can take these generic, simple Pinterest designs and take them to really any tattoo shop in your area and you can get them at an affordable price. So that's the reason why these are so popular. I almost think about these simple line work designs like how I think about emojis. There technically is copyright for emojis. Someone designed them, but they're so widely used that no one is going to put out a copyright claim for all the emojis that everyone uses everywhere. And in my opinion, if you find a palm tree or a little outline of dice on Pinterest and you bring it to a tattoo studio, I don't think that that's hideous tattoo copying. And I'm not saying this to say that the person who stole Sammy's tattoos was justified. Sammy does have what you would call a Pinterest tattoo aesthetic, but copying the exact tattoos in the exact placement as someone else, that's definitely not right. You definitely copied him. The issue with tattoo copying really comes when you're talking about unique designs that were designed for one client specifically and people reusing that. And I don't really think tattoo copying applies to flash tattoos. TikTok user Lily Wrapped, whose username is Sunked Beer, had a really interesting take, and I wanted to share that with you all.
I saw something on here where somebody had an iPad and they were like ripping designs and all the comments were like, "You stole that, blah, 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 blah. You can't take that. You're stealing their art." My question for you is, what do you think we've been doing for the past hundreds of years of tattooing. In the 40s and 50s, they used to take Matchbox covers and copy them. It's called flash designs.
And I definitely think that is a great point. For hundreds of years, traditional tattooers copy flash designs. The design that I did on myself, while I did draw it, it is a traditional flash design that's been tattooed so many times. And the comments are very interesting as well. Someone said, I'm a tattoo artist, and one time someone tried to cancel me for stealing a design. It was Sailor Jerry Flash. I'm just a traditional tattooer. It was an eagle. Someone else said, I feel like it's different if you're copying old Flash versus copying another artist's work. And I definitely agree with that. Stealing these unique and custom drawings is definitely not okay. But when we're talking about Flash, I do think that it's a different story. And there's another tattoo artist on TikTok by the name Bubba Tattooer, whose username is bubba.tattoos, and he had this to say.
It's not lying. Most Flash is ripped. Like, yeah, you want to draw your own and you want to be special, but Flash, tattooers have been doing this since the fucking dawn of time. Prick, don't just rip 100% off. Like, change the line a little bit, but that is what it is.
And in the comments of this video, someone said, personally, I'll put my twist on it, but if the customer wants it exactly the same, that's what I'm going to deliver. Someone else said, one of the perks of a flash sale is going in to pick a design you know has been done a bunch, but it's usually small and fun. And honestly, that is a part of American traditional tattooing that I really do love. We have these timeless symbols that have been tattooed and they've been copied for hundreds of years. And yeah, artists definitely make their own spin on it and they can make it super unique. But the core of the images is replicated and you share that with your community. To me, that's not a bad thing. That's something I really enjoy about traditional tattooing. Like, I have this moth on my arm, and while it is unique, I meet a lot of people with a similar traditional moth tattooed in the same place. And for me, that's like a fun bonding experience with other people who have similar passions for traditional tattooing. I'm not going to be offended that we have a similar tattoo. And like I said in the beginning of this video, there is a huge shift that's happening in the tattoo industry right now. And I think this has been happening for about 5 years, but COVID really made this so prevalent. And that is that there's less and less traditional tattoo shops and more artists are moving towards private studios. My favorite tattoo publication, Tattoo Do, has a great article called The Modern Evolution of the Traditional Tattoo Shop. And this was written by Amanda Pukert, and she asked the question, are private studios running traditional tattoo shops out of town? And in the article, Amanda references this documentary on Mark Mahoney. And Mark Mahoney is the founder of the Shamrock Social Club and was a pioneer in single needle black and gray tattoos. In the documentary, Mahoney says, back in the day, if you saw an amazing tattoo and you asked where they got that, the answer would be a location. So it would be like California, Long Beach. But nowadays, if you ask someone where they got their tattoo, they will say an artist's name. Amanda says, quote, the introduction of custom tattoos in the 70s fortified the artist-client relationship, giving way to proper recognition. Now, a massive number of artists are ditching the shop model altogether, opting instead to open private studios. And Amanda said, quote, tattoo shops were seemingly more notable than the artists themselves. But you can see that nowadays that has completely changed. Tattoo shops have definitely struggled to stay open since COVID happened. And many tattoo artists are finding insane fame online, and they don't need to be hosted by a shop anymore because they have this crazy clientele waiting to get tattooed by them. The shop setting allows people to come in for flash tattoos and simple tattoos. It also allows people to do custom work, but a private studio is almost exclusively custom work by one artist. I don't even think young people coming into tattoo shops would even know that the art on the wall is available for you to be tattooed. And people used to walk into tattoo shops, point at a design on the wall, and just get it tattooed. That was super normal not too long ago. And I don't think this shift is a bad thing. The tattoo industry is going to shift and evolve like it always has and it always will. And these are just new standards that we need to adjust to. So to say tattoo copying is bad is definitely an oversimplification. Copying custom, unique artwork is definitely bad, but there is an element of copying in the tattoo industry that has been around for a long time, and I would hate to see leave the tattoo industry. So with that, I would love to know what you all think about tattoo copying, the evolution of the tattoo industry. What do you think about flash tattoos, and are those copying? Let me know in the comments down below. But if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you have, leave me this emoji in the comments so that I know that you are a real one. Bye everyone.